Welcome everyone to IIOT World Days. I'm Jim Frazer, Vice President of Smart Cities at ARC Advisory Group and the chair of the IEEE Smart City Planning and Technology Guide P2784. Today in this session, we'll be discussing the importance of co-innovation for smart cities.
Innovation is defined by a shared work, right? It's like when you bring together the best of all the actors that are involved on the system so you can create a better solution. And I think it's important to say that we are talking about co-innovation to bring a result of that. That's to expect that co-innovation will explore and to develop disrupted solution. So the result that we want with the co-innovation is very important to say what we expect on that. It's a better solution, it's a disrupt solution so we can challenge all the and mitigate all the challenges that we have in the urban life today. So that's why that's so important for cities. Bright City as a startup, we are a startup, we don't have that we didn't go through the VC stage yet, and we are already contributing for the public management. So I think it's a great example that we have today, that we have a startup as Bright Cities, that we have Amazon and we have New Urbana, leading cities. There are different types of organizations and they are all contributing. So what a startup can really contribute is that the mindset of innovation, and the startup already starts the company with this environment of how we can innovate, and it's all about innovation. So that's why I agree with Mike when he say that startups are essential for this ecosystem of co-innovation. So we develop a platform that collects data for all the 10 areas that are managed by cities. So we collect data from environment, energy, public safety, health, education, urbanism, mobility. So we come up with all together. So we analyze 106 indicators to tell how is the performance of that city in terms of development, in terms of quality of life. So one example, for example, that we're talking about energy and how is the manage the energy in the city, the consumption, how it is in this city against another city, and we can compare cities. So we can identify what are the areas, the main areas that the city needs to improve. It's a global platform, so it's not only the data from Brazil, so we compare global cities all worldwide. And it's very interesting because we can identify benchmarks and identify what's the improvement that city needs to do. And some of the indicators that we have, for example, we're talking about a lot of the co-innovation. So I separate here technology and innovation areas so we can use some examples. For example, to identify how is the city in terms of the economy and in terms of number of business is one indicator, the number of patents. So we're talking about innovation, how many patents that city has, how is the ecosystem going on that. If that city has a high-tech hub, for example, if it is incentivizing and creating an environment to produce solutions, the number of incubators that now we're talking about is startups a lot. So is there programs of incubators in that city? Number of startups, it's a new indicator now that wasn't monitored and now it is monitored. So we have that new indicator that we can compare between cities and see how innovative that city is. And when we talk about other indicators regarding the infrastructure of technology, so we have some of that. And for each area, we have indicators that shows how that city is delivering the quality of the service. So in terms of environment, so we have indicators on pollution, we have recycle, mobility, we have many indicators that is very related to innovation. So that all brings together data that we can compare and identify the opportunities that city has in terms of performance. And so they can learn from each other. So how is one city doing comparing to others. And it's always in a way that's to show how they can collaborate and learn from cities. Is a point that's very important that I always discuss with Mike, that it's collaboration, not a competition between cities. Mike is an expert on that. I always incentivize that, and we learn about how can we share benchmarks so we can all have smart cities, not ranking of what are the best cities. No, what we want all the cities to have improvements. So there's a lot of data on that. We only use official data to collect this official data from the statistics institutional data, and we talk about some indicators on business, and we have organization and official ones that produce that, but we do have the private sector generating data too. That's now it's very important to use, and it's they add a great contribution as well. So for example, when we talk about mobility, we have all the system from the city that has generate information on mobility, but we have Waze that has hundreds of data that can add in terms of how the city can learn about the movements that are making the city by using a private app that's generating much more data on mobility than even the city can reach. So how can they work together? That's the collaboration, and we have the program, the Connected Citizens program from Waze that shares the data on mobility for free for cities, and that's a very nice example on how we can use the official data and how we can use data produced by the private sector.